What's up guys, DuArktik here with another Marvel Strike Force video, and in this video we have a very special guest. We have Skull aka Honor, the #1 player in the world of Cosmic Crucible, and he's here to give us some advice when it comes into defense. In regards to defense, what's going to be one of the best defenses for us to use next season. And last season Honor made the most impossible defense to beat on room 1, so yeah, it was kind of scary. So this season we're gonna have some spicy rules that are gonna boost characters like Night Stalkers and Undying. We will see if in his opinions this is gonna matter or not, and we're gonna take a look at 3 suggestions that I have for each room, and Honor is going to give his opinion about those teams and his own suggestions. So as always, if you guys like the information on these videos, make sure you share it with your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe for more Marvel Strike Force content, and make sure you smash that like button like a boss. Okay, so Honor, how are you doing today? The biggest champion in Cosmic Crucible.
I'm doing good, man. Currently, they're back-to-back, 2-time Season 9, Season 10, Rank 1 in Cosmic Crucible.
Damn, son, so you are at the level of Dr. Disrespect, the 2-time champion. Are you going for the 3rd time as well?
Hey, if it's possible, I'm going to go for it.
Awesome, awesome. It's amazing. So would you consider yourself a free-to-play player, light spender, heavy spender, whale, kraken? Where you locate yourself in those brackets?
I spend about $500 a month, so definitely pretty heavy by most people's standards. But again, those around me spend, order of magnitude more.
Yeah, I mean, $500 to be on rank 1. I think you are spending like 10% of what other people are spending. So I think you are doing amazing, and it's not always about the spending. Like I mentioned before, you have come up with amazing teams for defense and for offense, and that's why you are rank 1 compared to other people. So amazing job. Now, how excited are you for Season 11? These buffs to Night Stalkers, 20% more damage, and offense up when attacking bleed. Is this something that motivates you, something that excites you, or you think this is going to be something like concerning?
I think for Night Stalkers, they're a team where if they get to go, they usually win. And if they don't get to go, then they usually lose, especially on defense, where the most prominent counter to them is to go faster than them and either put up Weaver charges or stun them or control them. And on offense, you take them into a team that doesn't go very fast, where you can control them, rewind them with the Blade Ultimate. So overall, I don't think these rules will change them too much.
And what about Undying? Undying, they are going to get 20% more max health, and when attacking characters with bleed, they will get a defense up. Now, this into consideration that the Undying team has 1/3 or half of the stats of the new characters, even with a rework. So is this something that is concerning for Undying? Are they going to be used on defense or offense, or they are just going to sit on the bench and be a warm-up team?
For me, I don't think Undying is a Cosmic Crucible team. A lot of their kits, a lot of their unique capabilities are war exclusive. They don't have the stats to hold up outside of war, and I don't think they'll be a major player in this season of Cosmic Crucible.
Okay, yeah. Very concerned about that situation as well, and I actually expecting them to be playable, because Scopely has been loosen up on the game mode restrictions, but it seems like we're gonna be missing out this season. Okay, so let's move on to the rooms that we have for this season, and room 1. We're gonna talk about room 1 first, of course. And for room 1, we have combat support. So characters with Fortifier, Healer, Striker, Raider, Skirmisher, all of these characters are going to apply vulnerability up to a maximum of 20, and the characters are going to get more damage based on the vulnerabilities that they have on themselves. What do you think about this room? Is this something that people is going to be like complicated to pull it off, or not really?
I think this room is probably the most interesting room we have this season, and it's very double-edged. The extra vulnerables does make it so that if you're going first, you will have more damage. You will be able to potentially one-shot your opponents easier. However, if you don't kill them in time and they get to take a turn, all those extra vulnerables are going to come back and bite you, and they could very easily one-shot you.
Okay. And what do you think some of the mistakes that content creators have been making, like teams that cannot teams that cannot get vulnerabilities? Is this something that you would put on defense here, or is something that you should avoid in general?
Generally, I would avoid teams that have anti-vulnerability mechanics, such as Spider Society and Annihilators with Gladiators passive, because you want to have the vulnerables, especially if you have a slower team, like Spider Society, often not going first. And these two teams I would not put in Room 1 defense.
Okay, yeah. I agree with that. I think it doesn't make a lot of sense. Okay, so I'm going to give you the top 3 recommendations that I have for this room. And this was a conversation that I had on a recent live stream. We used the hive mind of the community on this channel to come up with these suggestions. So the first 3 teams that we thought about it would be Nightstalkers, because they go fast enough, they have the new stats, they are tanky enough. Then we have Extreme X-Men. Extreme X-Men, they are used to have vulnerabilities, they have a lot of mitigation mechanics with dodges, defense ups, deflects, and so on. And the last one would be Orchid, which they go fast and furious. They also spawn with immunity. They also have the pre-taunting tank. So overall, I think these are going to be good teams to use on this room. What do you think about them?
I think those are very good suggestions. Honestly, I think Nightstalker is a great team for Room 1. One thing I will note is maybe it's valuable to bring Morgan Le Fay if you're going to put Nightstalkers in Room 1, because she provides the extra Terminator when enemies take turns and could put her and Agatha ahead of certain teams that otherwise would be able to continue to go. As for the other 2 teams, it will depend on how is the wording with the extra damage. It says when attacking, gain 100% extra damage per vulnerable. Does that apply to passives like Gambit's passive, like Omega Sentinel's passive ping? Because if it does, then those 2 teams will also be incredibly strong. Imagine a Gambit ping doing 200, 300, 400 extra damage. That's gonna one-shot certain characters.
Yeah. The last one we had is Orchid. Orchid, it has a little bit of a problem that sometimes they have too much energy because they don't start with their specials, they start with the ultimate. You think this is something that would be better in another room, or you think it's not going to be a problem in this room?
I think I have Orchid in a different room. You can absolutely run Orchid in this room, and one of the great things about Orchid is that Scientist Supreme's ultimate is not considered an attacking ability, so I do not believe it will apply vulnerables when she does that ultimate.
Okay.
This is
so the team that I have on my defense. Go ahead.
You can run Orchid in 1. I just personally think there is maybe a better room for them.
Okay. I agree with that. So the team that I have on this room is Extreme X-Men with Rogue and Mephisto. What do you think about it?
In Room 1?
Yeah, in Room 1.
I think that's going to be a very strong team. The one concern I have is Mephisto. I don't know if you have him on a striker or not. It is possible that he will apply vulnerables with his passive, or not his passive, his empowered ultimate. Again, we just don't know if it'll work that way or not. But If it does, then he's going to be giving out 3 vulnerables to the enemy team. And potentially they could have a fast team like Cabal Kang, where Kang gets 3 vulnerables on his turn 1. That could be a little bit of an issue.
Okay, I see your point, Okay, let's take a look at the next room. We have Stage 2, Rules of Combat. In this room, villains will apply defense down when they get attacked to the enemies, and heroes will apply offense down when they get attacked to the enemies. And for my suggestions here, I have Annihilators, Nightstalkers, and Orchid. So mostly villain teams that benefit of that defense down, and the teams that are hybrid, where you could also plug and play Super Scroll. What do you think about these teams?
I think for this room, the defense down is obviously more important than the offense down. And Super Scroll is a great character to put in this room because putting down defense down is one of the things that makes him a lot scarier, especially with other characters as well. One thing I will say in this room is that on offense, new warriors are going to be a lot better because of them applying offense down, synergizing with their kits. So you don't want to put a team here that could be potentially beaten by new warriors on offense, such as Orchid.
Exactly. That's a very good point. Okay, so on my defense, I have Annihilators with a Silver Surfer and with a Kestrel. What do you think about it? Easy to beat or decent enough?
If Annihilators don't have Super Scroll or Mephisto, I think they're relatively slow team, with the fastest character being Gore at 129. So I would be concerned about a faster team like a Hive Mind team, or maybe even like a Void Knight Red Hulk situation where I'm clumping you up and then rewinding everyone by 20%, then throw in a Lady Deathstrike or something and just keep the rewind chain going. That would be a potential concern. I think if you maybe added a Super Scroll or maybe even like a Noir or something to make that team a little bit faster, I think that could be greatly beneficial as well.
Okay. Yeah, I have used this team in the past and it was decent. I actually used this team in the past with Hela, but now with Annihilators, I think it's just better to keep them like this and benefit of the room. Let's move on to the next room. The room that many people dread. Raid on Crucible. So the room will count as raid and your resistance and healing will be reduced by 50%. My suggestions for this room are Spider Society, Orchid, Nightstalkers. But we could mix up, for example, Spider Society with Hive Mind, because they have Hero Spider-Verse characters and Spider Society buffs that. So what do you think about Spider Society Hybrid, Orchid, and Nightstalkers?
I think there have been several changes since the last time we had this room. Last time we didn't have characters like North Star, who are able to shut down completely turn meter gain on the enemy team. So I think the meta will shift away from teams that are reliant on turn meter gain, like Pegasus or Bifrost. I think neither of those teams will be relevant this season in those rooms and in this raid room. I think Spider Society will be a lot stronger than people believe. I know everyone's talking about Orchis, everyone's talking about Night Stalkers that have their new stats, but you're forgetting that these new stat characters do not have raid-specific boosts to their stats. Spider Society, however, do. They have 50% extra health in the raid rooms and 75% extra damage in raids. Additionally, all their characters gain extra mechanics. They get to ult turn 1, which is massive. Penny ulting turn 1, Pav ulting turn 1 can delete entire teams. So I think a lot of people are still sleeping on Spider Society.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And what do you think about the Hive Mind? Because Hive Mind, they are going to get extra crit chance, extra crit damage, barrier, extra health, all of those things when they are paired up with Spider Society. And on top of that, the Void Knight and Gwenom, they are going to get speed up as well, like Pavitra. You think this is going to be serious combo or not really, or just full Spider Society?
I actually think Hive Mind has the capability of catching some people off guard. They might not remember that Hive Mind get beat up in raids. One of the things that was very meta last time we had this room was Hive Mind with Super Scroll. Now North Star will shut that down to a certain extent, but then you still have to kill the Hive Mind members, which are who are very strong in their own right. They get extra stats. Boy Knight ult ability blocks everyone on his turn. So these are things that are going to be still very challenging to overcome.
Okay. So in terms of Alpha Flight, some people are thinking about Alpha Flight for defense. Is this something that you agree with? Myself, I'm keeping them on offense because on defense they can be like exhausted, and after that they are easy to kill. Do you agree with that? They are better for offense than defense?
I think Alpha Flight on defense is just too slow. Even with the extra speed stat, they don't have a speed up on spawn. So any team that has speed up on spawn is still going to go before Alpha Flight. And
Okay.
I think North Star is just too powerful of a tool to put on defense. He can just single-handedly shut down tons of teams. I think it's very important that you have him on offense, especially for the first week, while we don't know what's going to be, the meta, so to speak.
Okay. Let's move on to the next room. Room number 4, Flashbang. Ultimate abilities apply blind to the primary target, and if the targets have blind, their speed and their armor will be reduced by 5% and 25% respectively. And for my suggestions, I have Illuminati, Sinister Six, and Night Stalkers for this room, because most of these characters start with their ultimate first. What do you think about it?
I think one of the things that happened last time this room was in the CC was that it was bugged, and it turned out that it was blinding everyone, not just the primary target.
Yeah, exactly.
But there is a chance of that happening again. For me, I think any team that goes fast here is going to be great. You said Superior 6, correct?
I said Illuminati, Sinister Six, Superior Six, and Night Stalkers.
I think Illuminati and Superior 6 will be pretty strong here, especially with Hank Pym's ultimate. When he gets to do it, he puts out trauma as well. So that's just extra. A blind is going to make him a lot more scary when he does the ultimate. For Superior 6, similarly, when Green Goblin Classic does his ultimate, he's putting out trauma, and you add blind to that, it's going to make those teams a lot scarier. As for Night Stalkers, they're a bit slow for my liking in this room, and Blade's ultimate, I believe, already puts out blinds if you have him awakened, so they're not really gaining too much new power here. I think Moon Knight's ultimate also can put out blinds as well. But I do like Superior 6, and I do absolutely like Illuminati here.
And what about Orchid? Orchid would be my fourth option, because a lot of them start with their ultimate.
Orchid would be good as well, especially if the room is bugged and Scientist Supreme is putting out blind to everyone. That's going to be a big problem as well. I do like Orchid, I do like Illuminati, and I do like Superior 6 here. I think those would be my 3 teams to put in this room.
Okay, so the defense I'm using is Illuminati Elite with Odin. Is it overkill or is not enough? You think Illuminati without Captain Britain is good enough?
In the blind room,
yes,
I think that's pretty good. Generally, the free-to-play Illuminati is underestimated by a lot of people. They try to take Superior 6 into it with Vulture and lose. That happens quite a lot. And I think it's a good use of Illuminati. Also, to save Captain Britain on offense, I think that's going to be a great idea.
And Odin, you think it's a waste? Is it overkill? Would he be better on offense?
For me, I think I'm going to consider Odin on offense for the first week. I think he's a little bit more flexible on offense. I think on defense, without the assisting room that we had last season, he's going to be a little bit worse in terms of getting defensive wins. He's just unfortunately still a bit slow, especially against all the Cosmic Crucible speed game that you can still get because you don't have Captain Britain in there.
Yeah. I see your point. Okay, let's move on to the next room. Room number 5, Unholy Alliance. In this room, unlimited X-Men characters will count as Masters of Evil, and Masters of Evil will count as unlimited X-Men characters. Now, we don't know if Masters of Evil will also get the mechanics of other X-Men characters, so this is a big question mark in my opinion. For my suggestions, in this room, I have skipped the room or Infinity Watch or something like that, because at least for the first week, at least I don't have an idea of what to use. And I think X-Men and Masters of Evil, this is a super waste on defense. What do you think about it?
I know a lot of the other content creators are suggesting using a combination of Unlimited, Extreme, and Masters of Evil. The most common suggestion I've seen is like Rogue, Gambit, Nightcrawler, Forge, and then either Absorbing Man or Titania. I think that's a very powerful team, especially when you consider Titania's passive is going to apply to all the Unlimited members as well. So Rogue and Gambit getting 50% extra health. The downside of that is they still get beaten by Superior 6, I'm pretty sure. And if you put Absorbing Man as a pre-taunt, thinking that the Safeguard will save him, I'm just going to bring in Ares with Superior 6 like I've been doing already against extreme teams. So I don't think it changes too much. Now, one of the things that you can do is just ignore this room entirely. And if you're going to do that, you should put a team on defense in this room that cannot be beaten by MOE or Unlimited. And then this room essentially is a wash because that unique synergy trait only applies in room 5.
Yeah. Do you have any suggestion on a team that you think is going to be useful here?
For me, I think it's going to be interesting to potentially separate Extreme from Unlimited and just use the original Unlimited members with some of the MOE members that you aren't using on offense. Me personally, I have not been using Absorbing Man. I have not been using Titania on offense in the last season. So I could see something like Rogue, Absorbing Man, Titania, Gambit, and maybe another member in this room. And then having Extreme in a separate room, especially because the raid rule, they could be useful there as well.
Okay. Let's move on to the last room. This room, oh my god, this room is gonna be problematic. So stage 6, what's up dog? And on defense and offense, all characters will have no healing. All the healing will be reduced by 100%. And all characters will spawn with a Safeguard, Immunity, and Defense up. So this just alone like sounds very, very scary. Now I'm going to tell you my recommendations, but I'm not sure. Like this is going to spice up really Crucible a lot. So my suggestions would be, we have many for this room. So I've minded spawning with a Defense up, Safeguard, and Immunity would be big. We could use Undying here. Mercs for Mana would be big here too. Any character with pre-taunt, Illuminati as well, spawning with Immunity and Safeguard. And then we have Night Stalkers. Night Stalkers spawning with Defense up, Safeguard, and Immunity. What do you think about this?
I think this room has potential to be either a nothing burger or potentially one of the worst rooms we've ever faced, depending on how the order of operations work. Usually the room rules apply last, like in war. So the Safeguard and Immunity, in terms of order of operations, could be happening last. If that's the case, I don't think this room is too relevant because you can always just bring in Apocalypse or Ares in this room and negate the Safeguard on spawn. And I think basically that's going to be a must use in room 6. I'm pretty sure every offensive team in room 6 will need to have Ares or Apocalypse. The other thing that I'm not sure about is how does the healing reduction work? Is it as if every character just has heal block and they can't heal or even drain because heal block prevents that? Or is it only for active healing abilities? Also, there's potential for Illuminati to be very, very strong in Room 6. But again, it depends on the order of operations to a certain extent.
Yeah. So, do you think it's better to have teams that already have safeguard for this room, or save those teams for other room? Because, for example, we have Illuminati that gains safeguard, but they don't spawn with safeguard. So this is something we should be capitalizing on, or just put a team that is better here?
So Illuminati is very interesting because one of their counters is Superior 6 Vulture. If the room rule applies first and they get safeguard immunity and defense up before anything else happens, then they're going to be unstoppable because they will not have their speed ups removed by Vulture's passive. However, if it works the other way around, like it did in War last season, where Vulture's passive happens before the room rolls, so he clears the speed up before the safeguard gets applied on defense, then I actually think Illuminati aren't very good in Room 6 because Superior 6 Vulture with Apocalypse will be flipping all of those immunities to disrupts on Green Goblin Classic's turn, and Green Goblin Classic spawning with immunity and safeguard means that he cannot be ability blocked by Black Panther Shuri as he is normally done, which means he gets to ult turn 1 no matter what. And once he ults, all those immunities become disrupts and he's going to apply trauma. So now you have trauma and disrupt and defense down on all Illuminati members. I think that's an easy one-shot.
Yeah, and we also have the situation with Mysterio, because Mysterio prevents immunity, and having Mysterio with the Green Goblin and Apocalypse, it's a possibility. You have enough space for all of them. What do you think?
Yeah, I think for me, if you're going to use Superior 6 here on defense, you can put like a Superior 6 Mysterio room here and try to force your opponent to use Apocalypse. For me, I think Room 6 will be interesting. There's going to be two ways to make this room really work in your favor. The first way is to put a very, very strong team like Illuminati with Black Knight or Illuminati with Odin in this room and just try to gate a hard gate to keep your opponents from clearing all rooms. And the other idea that I'm thinking of is trying to put a relatively cheap team but still force your opponents to use an Apocalypse on a team that you really don't want to be using Apocalypse into. I think these two are both very strong ideas for this room, depending on if you're focused more on defense heavy or offense heavy for the first week.
Okay. So for the team that I'm planning to use here, I have Night Stalkers with Morgan Le Fay. They have a safeguard from Morgan Le Fay already. They have that Agatha mechanic that allows them to heal up. You think this is going to be strong enough because they counter like Mystic Characters, or you think they would be better in other room? Night Stalkers with Morgan Le Fay.
Morgan Le Fay, a lot of her mechanic is countered by just having the safeguard anyways, but she still gives turn meter to Agatha, which I think is important. And Night Stalkers with Morgan Le Fay would, at minimum, force an Apocalypse from your opponents. So I think if you want that to be your setup, that's where you want your opponents to use their Apocalypse so they can't use them elsewhere in a different room potentially. I think that's valuable. I think that the Night Stalkers are probably a bit better either in room 1 or potentially in the blind room. But it really depends on what other teams you have there, right? If you're using the alternate options, then yeah, you can put them here as well.
Okay. So we went through all the rooms. Now I'm going to ask you, what about the mythical characters? We have a bunch of mythical characters. We already mentioned Apocalypse, Odin, Mephisto. Are you going to use them on defense? Are you going to use them on offense? Is there any idea that you have? Last season I used Mephisto on offense because of your crazy room 1. You think we're gonna see more of that full offense, or you think people are gonna put all their mythicals on defense?
So for the last week of the last season of Crucible, I did use Mephisto on offense myself as well, mostly to counter the Illuminati Odin team. that has been a big problem in that room 1. This season, we don't have an assist room, so I don't think Illuminati Odin nor Illuminati Black Knight are going to be nearly as powerful as we saw them last season. So I don't think those two teams will be as big of an issue. So I think I will have my Odin on offense for the first week, because I think using Odin to one-shot the opponent Mephisto is going to be more valuable than potentially having it on defense just to get one-shot by a non-Mephisto team anyways. As for Mephisto, I think he will be strong in maybe the raid room. If you want to use something like Mephisto Spider Society in the raid room, I think that will catch a lot of people off guard because we're so used to double sacking and cleaning up with like secret defenders that if they try to do that, they're going to lose and not clear.
And Apocalypse, as you mentioned, you're going to use him on offense and Super Scroll. Still on defense, or is it time to put Super Scroll on offense as well?
For Apocalypse and Ares, I think it's necessary to have both of these. As I mentioned, Room 6 is you're going to have to use one of them anyways. So that's immediately one of them gone. And there are other teams like Gladiator that you might have to use the other one, right? Because otherwise he's going to have Safeguard Immunity Taunt, and that's going to be very annoying. So I think Apocalypse and Ares are both must-have on offense this season. As for Super Scroll, I think it's interesting. You can run him on offense with certain teams like Hivemind to counter tricky teams like Orchid or a lot of spawn-heavy teams. However, I think I'm still going to have him on defense just for the first season, for the first week of the new season, as we kind of see what settles in to be the new meta. And then maybe we could have him on offense potentially as well.
Okay, so we went through all the rooms. These are the suggestions I give. These are the thoughts of the #1 player in the world of Cosmic Crucible. We're gonna end the video just by going through the frames. Do you like this new idea of frames that Scopely is giving for the top 100 players? Or do you think it should be a badge system instead? Do you think they should give different levels of badges for like the rankings they are, or what do you think about this overall?
I think the frame obviously is an improvement from previously where we didn't have anything. I think that a lot of people who play CC don't do it for the rewards. I can speak for myself. I really don't care about the extra rewards I get from being top 10 versus top 100. It's very minimal, and the difference is only 200 dark diamonds. But having something that can show off your achievements, like a frame or a badge system, definitely makes it a lot better. The frame, I think, is a little bit too generic. It's just one frame for top 100. If you're going to do a system, I think it would be cool if they could have a different, like a bronze, silver, and gold situation where you could have, rank 50 to 100 having bronze, and then silver for 100 to 10, 50 to 10, and then having gold for the top 10. I think that would just be a little bit extra, prestige as well. And as for the badge system, it would definitely be cool. I know other games have a system that you can show off your achievements in the previous seasons. You could, choose to, on your profile picture, show off your 4 or 5 badges that you've done. So like a badge could be like finish top 200 in season 9 or finish top 10 in season 10. These things you could display on your profile. Absolutely would be great additions to the game.
Okay, so that's gonna cover everything for season 11 of Cosmic Crucible. Once again, big thanks and big shout out to So Honored, #1 player Cosmic Crucible in the world for 2 seasons in a row. And that's gonna be all for now, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you smash that like button like a boss. And as always, if you find information helpful, make sure you share it with your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe for more Mouse Force content. And I'll catch you guys later.